So, right now in the era of social media, with just one single post, we can break through the roofs, yeah, and we can have a global trends just overnight. And that immediately means that technology has never been so interconnected in how and what we produce, design, and actually how we experience fashion. And once considered super futuristic, now, especially artificial intelligence, that we will talk about just in a second, is quickly becoming just, an industry's core. I'm not talking about ChatGPT, that is the core of most of us, right? But so from powering everything from hyper-personalized shopping to on-demand manufacturing, right now AI is truly enhancing and reshaping the creativity, sustainability, ethical, and operational landscapes. So now, today, me, Odeta Yatse, or Jace in English, whatever you prefer to call, technology consultant and cultural trends analyst, I am honored to discuss this really important topic with amazing, amazing speakers and really thoughtful fashion tech leaders. So please welcome on stage the first that we have, Mikkel. He is a co-founder. Mikkel, please come here, of course, applause. He's a co-founder and CEO of Choice. Originally, he is from Germany, but now he lives in a beautiful place in south of Austria. For the past 4 years, Mikhail was really hard working in the digital space of digital wardrobe, right? So his company, Choice, and we will talk about it on the panel also, is developing the technology that automatically creates a digital version of your wardrobe. And the goal of it is to bring your wardrobe online and make shopping, reselling, styling, and even renting your closet easier and more efficient. One more time.
Nice. Thank you.
Perfect, amazing audience. So now let me introduce Anna Francisca. And she is a visionary soul who was also once a fashion designer and found out that it was so stressful and difficult and challenging to deal with speed and pressure of the industry of fashion. So she learned how to code, and she founded Yuna.ai. That is also very known as Universe, especially in the free market, right? So now that Universe and Yuna.ai is focused on making lives of designers way easier by automating design and manufacturing processes in fashion. This is why Anna now is purely focused on AI and making production change way more sustainable. I know it's a lot of key terms, but we will undercover all of it just in the second. So Anna also strongly believes that we can't just optimize processes, right? We just need to change our mindset. This is also what we will try to do in the panel. Last, but definitely not least, amazing Charlotte, Chief Evangelist at Flexstock. Based in London, also originally from Germany, she has worked in fashion industry all over the planet and the globe, starting from Europe and US, and now before moving, now she's based in London, right? So before moving to Denmark as head of 3D at Villa, brand under bestseller, right? She was driven by the passion for sustainability. And when we talked before the panel, believe me, she is an amazing person on specifically that field. So she transitioned herself from traditional fashion to digital innovation. Using technology, she tries to reduce weight and optimize fashion processes. This is exactly what Flexstock is about. It is changing fashion imagery with AI-powered tools like meta models and replacing and reducing the need of traditional photo shoots to reduce cost, waste, and production time. But this is what we need, right? To reduce the cost and just go to the benefits. So in this panel, finally I'm also joining you. So in this panel, I would really like us to go through the stages of fashion process, so that all of us would follow, from the first step, what we call design, manufacturing, then production, and etc. And then we will cover all the benefits that we can access inside every process area. But first, from my perspective, I think that very, very first step in fashion process is literally to analyze what we already have in our wardrobes, right? So literally, there is a saying, even by Ursula de Castro, the fashion revolution creator, that the most sustainable item that we have is the one that we can have, is the only one that we already have in our wardrobes. So, Mikkel, the question comes first to you, because many of us only use, 20% of our wardrobes, and sometimes we even forget what we have in our wardrobes, because some of our wardrobes are pretty big, And a digital wardrobe that really reminds what we have would be really a game changer. So can you share more about how did you develop this concept from a choice perspective, from your brand's perspective, and what is the impact not only for consumers but also for businesses if we use your amazing brand?
Yeah, so first of all, thank you so much for having us. I think this is a really great event to speak about a really important topic, sustainability. So eBay, Fashion Council Germany, NIO House, and thank you so much for making this happen. And Odetta, regarding your question, you're absolutely right. So on average, we only wear 20% of our wardrobe. So 80% of our wardrobe just sits there. And yet many of us stand in front of our wardrobe every morning and just thinking, oh, I have nothing to wear. Yeah, so 2 years
been there, done that.
So 2 years ago, we wanted to solve this problem by launching a styling app, so-called wardrobe app, where you can photograph each piece of clothing of your wardrobe, upload it to the app, you have a nice overview, and you can mix and match outfits. Maybe many of you know the movie Clueless, where Cher Horowitz is styling herself on a computer. And right after launching our app, just 3 months afterwards, with I think 3,000 downloads, we very soon found out that 3/4, 72% of all our users dropped off. They left the app before even photographing their first piece of item.
Physical item, yeah.
So this is the big challenge in the entire styling app market. The uni was a problem. Nobody wants to digitize their wardrobe 3 to 4 hours. And that was the moment when we thought about, okay, there must be a way to automate this. And we stopped our app and we thought about ways, and we now call this our Mission 100x. So we want to make wardrobe digitization 100 times faster than the actual status quo. So not hours, but seconds. And the first way we try to achieve this is by digitizing your online purchases. So every time you buy online, you get a confirmation email. Michael, thanks for a purchase, your t-shirt is on its way. And what we did is we built an email item finder. So you can integrate our technology, GDPR compliant of course, with your email account. We find your confirmation emails and we extract your online purchases and beam it inside your digital wardrobe. And now the impact comes into play, because we not wanted to just throw another styling app into the market. We are now offering this email item finder to our former competitors, styling apps, to integrate it via an API, this is B2B software as a service model, for them to allow their users to just tap a button and you have 30, 40, 50 or even 100 items right in the app and you can style outfits. So the daunting barrier of photographing your items is not given anymore. And yeah, I think.
Yeah, so would you like to have your wardrobe digitalized? Raise your hand who would love to have a solution. Afterwards, come to Mikkel, okay? So thank you so much for sharing about your idea, and I think it's as soon as you will have a lot of technology underneath, and you do have like fashion element, etc. We can talk about it a bit later. Then we have these items purchased, right? Now we analyze what we have in our wardrobe. Now let's come back to the first step in fashion progress. That is AI in design and product development. And here I would like to talk with Charlotte, with you. your career has been going through all the fashion cycles, literally. From traditional design, you moved to 3D, training even overseas suppliers in China and US and Bangladesh, as you mentioned, right? So then to AI visualizations, and now you are really focusing on sharing your knowledge, as Elke was saying, but it's incredibly important to educate our consumers, right? And businesses, of course. So you have been like a change manager in this all journey, that you use technologies, but you also shared your knowledge and shared your insights how to adapt to this change. So we know the change is very important and it's very hard, especially and that we as people, we tend to, push away technology and push away change, any kind of change. Yeah? And especially right now when we have AI, we have to understand that it's just inevitable that we will have to see that synergy between AI and humans, right? So what are the key lessons, purely from change management perspective, that you see, that you would like to share with our audience, that they can also maybe try to adapt or just take into consideration that we need to make the change, to put the change in a more positive way, let's say?
Well, thank you, first of all, for the lovely introduction. It's really nice to be on this panel with you. So I've worked with various brands in different countries, different sizes, medium-sized brands, from luxury to fast fashion. And what I've seen is that you have fast adapters and you have companies who are a little bit slower in adapting new technology. And both of these approaches have very different challenges that come with it. So if you're a fast adapting brand, oftentimes it can be that C-level executives are very excited about a new technology and very eager to implement it. They see the possible advantages and then they push it on the teams. And what can happen is that suddenly something that should be an enabler becomes or is seen as a roadblock. Because there's not proper education. I really feel like you need to take people with you on this journey and not oppose it upon them. So on the opposite side, though, if you look into more of like an organic growth, if you want to do it more in a slow way and leave it to the teams, which is, I think I'm a great supporter of that, like really helping people to embrace it themselves, it can also lead to this kind of like fragmented structure, because now you have different departments working with different tools, and suddenly this overarching workflow is not working seamlessly anymore. So as I said earlier, I do really feel like taking people with you on this journey is the most important lesson that I've learned, making sure that you educate people, that you make them excited about it. I had a really, really great boss and mentor when I was working at Vero Moda back in the times, Jesper Reisman. And he told me once, Charlotte, your job is to make it viral, like be like a virus, making sure that it doesn't just spread to the next person that you're trying to convince, but that they are as excited about it as you, so that it can spread by itself throughout the company. And that excitement can really help to implement it. But yeah, and giving mandate to people as well, transparency.
So it's all about going, making the change go viral, that it's so positive and so effective, right? And in multiple ways that can help person who is working in that specific company, right? So
correct.
Yeah, that's so true. I also can literally stay on top of working with digital transformations. We already see that if we talk only about technology and from technical perspectives, we cannot have like technical terms when we first approach people. So that is so true that, first we make, I would call like, we have to make technology and the change of a digital transformation sexy, right? So this is our
yeah, I love that.
thing. Yeah. So we are still in the design and manufacturing phase. So now I would like to go to Anna, because your company, UNII, is very well known in fashion industry already when it comes to multiple stages of product from fashion perspective and product development. So from the concept boards, initial sketches, to technical specifications, and to 3D visualizations and sampling, this is what your company is doing, right? So can you share also from your perspective what key benefits you see, especially in product development and design stages when we talk about AI specifically?
Yeah, thanks for the question, and I can really relate what you're talking about change management. I live a lot of that. Yeah, the benefits of AI. I was working as a designer myself for many years, and I had to calculate my designs myself. I had to analyze data. We talked about data before. Data is a very important point. The benefit of AI is that we can have a new possibility to work with data. Right? We in UNA, we analyze trend data, all TikTok channels, Instagram, Vogue, WGSN. We analyze all the brands worldwide, and we analyze brand data. Like the companies we're working with, we analyze this data. We don't only analyze the data, we also coach brands how to use their data best, right?
That's so important. Exactly. Having data is nothing. Exactly.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I entered to build this product like, oh yeah, I changed everything. It's very easy. This idea, and then I go to this brands, but then everybody's looking at me and like, what crazy person are you? You cannot just bring a product in. So we consult also on data. So this is the first thing, that we leverage data in a better way and in the best way. And when you have all this data, you can really calculate accurately what should you design, when you should launch it, how much should you produce, which material, and so on. And I think it's perfect for our industry. Also, looking for sustainability, so you can calculate better. You're closer to the trend, and then comes to sustainability. We can sell better, sell more, and this is definitely something against overproduction. Yes, and I think it's already...
So you touched the overproduction and production. So if you move to the third stage, that is exactly the production and manufacturing. So how do you think in this specific field, because after helping companies, with design, as UNAI is doing, and product development, you also offer pattern making, automation, as far as I know, right? So how do you see AI transforming production specifically?
Production is not really our field. We cannot tackle everything. So what we try to do is from data analysis until the way it goes to production. That you have like a tech back ready to go to production, or going to 3D, and we have a browseware collaboration, Close 3D and Style 3D collaboration, that you automate your process into that. Production is, I cannot say so much about that.
But just from your experience in the market, so how do you have any tips and tricks, let's say, for smaller brands to tap into this, optimization journey in production? And let's come back one step, like in design also, without being like super overwhelmed with this cost and complexity that also, let's be honest, comes with technology.
Come to us. We take you through. We have really special offers for smaller brands, because I was one. I tried to sell, and then I had to analyze everything. I was always behind the process and not in front, So we have really special. Laura sitting here, she's doing webinars every week to onboard smaller brands, design students, and so on. And we really try to engage everyone, coach everyone. That also, students come later to the brands. They have to teach brands also what is the new technology, and it's really easy to use. A little bit out of my experience also, I came to the brands with a really business intelligence tool with a lot of AI and technology wording. Maybe some of you have the experience too, but I had to cut everything out. My co-founder says I would never have been built this platform. I would have a lot of more technical wording in it, but we took everything out. It's like a Playmobil platform now, so there is no need of being afraid of AI and technology.
So you heard the call to action. Anna is here. Connect with her on LinkedIn and get some amazing promo all first, right? Okay, so we talked about production. We talked about what we have in the closet, right? We talked about design and manufacturing a bit. We now let's move to AI in marketing and advertising. So Charlotte, coming back to you. So I know that you are highly involved with visual content production, right? And right now, it seems that you have seen AI, at the first hand, how to use AI tools, how to work with it in order to create some images and campaigns. In your opinion, so how can AI and human marketing teams collaborate? Because we have this feeling in the market that soon we will be replaced, or some creative teams or other teams, right? So how do you see if AI is eventually replacing certain aspects of the visual creation, or maybe we should treat AI just as literally a tool to enhance our creativity?
Yeah, and I think I agree with the later statement because for me, AI really is a powerful tool that can enhance human creativity. And of course, it is helping us to be more efficient. So you have a lot of post-processing, like editing, for example, of videos and photos that can be done with AI. We have this whole Gen AI for mood boards, data analysis for trend predictions. All of this can help, but if we think about it, it's a lot of repetitive tasks. And what that can do is really help us to focus more on the storytelling and the strategy aspect. And I think that is something that creatives, at least the ones I've worked with, like after a while, you can really see how this feeling of being afraid of this new technology transforms into a feeling of it frees me of these repetitive tasks. I mean, most of the time I see that it is used in the early creative stages. So for example, creating, as I said, mood boards, but in general, just concepts. You can create so much. You can just really, really create an abundance of images to have a different conversation creatively about where you're going strategy-wise. And then you see it as a consumer, of course, in photo shoots. So as I said, meta models that Flixstock created is mainly about you can shoot a product and then replace it with different models. You can replace backgrounds as well. You can create campaigns. So I think overall, this can also lead to a new boost of creativity because now you can do new things that are not really possible in our world. Like you can now create unicorn backgrounds and like make it work seamlessly. Everything that was done with 3D in the past can now be done with AI, which is of course more cost efficient and faster. So I think it really helps us to go beyond what is possible at the moment.
And when we talk about visuals, you mentioned about the cost effectiveness and etc. We also have some deep situations when data is super biased, and ethical questions arise. And I hope that all of us are aware not only about the way AI is reducing our amazing capability of planets to live longer, but also if we talk about the ethical aspects. So when training AI data, what would be your let's say also tips, recommendations, suggestions, how to maintain high creative standards, but still keep the data and these marketing visuals we produce, that they would still remain ethical and as much as possible bias-free?
That is a very complex and controversial question, but
This is
I'll
what
do
we
my
are here
best
for.
to. Yeah. No, I think it is a super, super important topic. By now, most of us have probably realized that AI is only as good as the data set you're training it on. So you need to have that foundation. And besides thinking about ownership and intellectual property rights, we also need to think about diversity and the bias that can be created, as you said, with that data set. So I think overall, I feel like it is the industry responsibility, but also a little bit of common sense to use it ethically, to understand the capabilities and what comes out of AI, and kind of evaluate it again with a human mindset. What is it that I'm looking at? We do need to make sure that we have this human oversight and regulations, and I know that is a controversial topic when we think about the EU AI Act and so on, and of course it's important to comply to these regulations, but I think it is, as I said, about constantly improving it with this human impact on top of it, like really trying to make it an assistant to us and follow us and not go rogue.
Yeah, so be careful with what data you're using. Okay, so we touched about visuals a bit, and now let's move to AI in sales and customer experience. So if you design the product, we have a product in hand, we try to purchase it, and let's take a look at the customer experience. And Michael is again our key person here, right? So how can fashion brands leverage your AI-driven solution to improve their own customer experience, apart from, from styling and etc., but maybe you will also talk about it a bit more. And what challenges on the same page do you see, because you collect a lot of data, and you are in Europe, and your brand is in Europe, and we have GDPRs and a lot of data collection restrictions and legal things going on around. So what would be the benefits and challenges to enhance the customer experience with AI-driven solutions, but also still take into consideration with data little things that we have to consider?
So when we look at fashion e-commerce, there are many services, right? We can shop at Zalando, we can resell on eBay, we can rent and swap items with friends in apps, and we can, for example, style in styling apps. And what's quite interesting is that all of these services start with what we own. All of these services starts with what is in our wardrobe. And the funny part is, none of them actually know. So no Zalando, for example, knows what's in your wardrobe. And this causes inefficiencies, especially sustainable inefficiencies. When we shop at Zalando, for example, we have plenty of feeds of products suggested to us not fitting into our wardrobe. When we resell, we don't even know what items we wear rarely and could sell.
Yeah, that's true.
And when we style in a styling app, obviously we need to photograph our entire wardrobe. So these are inefficiencies that could be solved if any user has their own digital wardrobe. Yeah? And now I would say, let's imagine a world together where you can shop at Zalando and they already have a chatbot. Yeah? Imagine the chatbot knows what's inside your wardrobe and they give you a personalized shopping experience, like you go in a store and you are talking to your long-time associate. Yeah? That's really nice. Or imagine when you want to resell items, you see the reselling prices of your items and your real-time wardrobe value, for example, and you can just upload an item on the reselling platform with just one click. Already talked about styling apps, bespoke outfit suggestions, so we save time in the morning. So especially in our case, our email item finder is not only for styling apps, but for any player. And you mentioned data protection, especially in EU. And this is paramount for us. Data protection is paramount for us. And it should be for any AI tool.
But it's not, especially with DeepSeek,
Yeah, DeepSeek is another story. Yeah. But when brands are thinking about introducing AI tools, they should ask one question themselves. And this is the added value of the AI tool high enough for the user to use it? And only when this question is a clear yes, they should think about, okay, how we can integrate it, what about data protection and so on. And when it's a clear yes, the next step would be, what is the user data the AI tool needs to function properly? It should be only the minimum. The next step would be, where is the data stored? For an European brand, it should be Europe. For us, it's Germany. So there are many, many questions a brand should ask, but any AI tool integration starts with, is the added value high enough?
Do you agree with that? Simone is there. Okay. Okay, so that's interesting. I think I will talk about this specifically after we talk about. We have such a limited time here, so I will just move on if you're okay, right? So now we talked about how to buy it. Yeah, we have a solution also, the customer experience, and we have this amazing question that every brand needs to ask before we go to customer, right? So now, as we have already production done, everything done, product here, let's talk about end of life and sustainability, that it has to be embedded in that, right? So, question to Anna. So, faster design cycles and automation actually can mean more products in that sense, like in the market. So, in your view, how can AI counter this by reducing waste, or, particularly in this end-of-life stage?
Yeah. I actually answered this question a little bit before. I mean, if we talk about AI using in our industry, is not only Gen AI. We design millions of designs, one after another, and we don't know what design. What the goal is and should be to use AI to create smarter and better products, what you sell. So my vision is, if we do that and calculate better what we sell, because right now we are creating and selling maybe 70% and so on. So my vision is, we calculate better, we are closer to the market, and then we sell better, and then we have to create less products because we don't need to create and produce anymore that much, because we only produce what we sell.
What's needed, yeah. That's so true. So I would love to talk with all of you for forever. We still have a few uncovered questions, but I see that the time is running, even though I thought that you still have 6 minutes on. So that's interesting. But to sum up for today's perspectives in one sentence. So all stages: design, first analyzing what we have in our wardrobe, right? Then design, production, customer marketing, customer experience, and product and life cycle. What is the single most important insight that all of you would like our audience to take away from this conversation? Let's start, Anna, with you again, if that's okay.
Most important, I would say, don't be afraid of AI. It's easy to use, and it can just make your life better and your company, if you're a fashion company, more sustainable.
Okay. Michael.
It's not a key insight, I would say, but here, so many great designers, so many great startups, managers, and so on. We all have the same mission: sustainability in fashion. And when we work together, when we collaborate, we can have long-term change, and we should embrace it.
Thank you so much. Last but not least, Charlotte.
I think if we're able to use AI responsibly, and we can really implement it into every single step of the fashion product life cycle, we're able to look into a future that can be more creative, efficient, but also sustainable, really. And that was always my drive, and I'm very happy that we're on the right way towards that future.
That's so true. So thank you so much for sharing your amazing insights and practical tips and tricks. And we already have some promo offers, as you remember. So thank you again. And just come to Amazing Hour speakers after the talk, just to get more insights. So thank you so much also for listening.
Thank you.